In this small town of Texas, mysterious glowing orbs of all colors are observed darting through the desert sky, and no one has been able to explain them. Sightings have been recorded every single year since 1883, and it has left the globe puzzled. The world's most talented scientists came together on a number of occasions to try and get to the bottom of the mystery, but their results were left inconclusive several times. People have theorized that the lights are the result of a number of paranormal presence, such as ghosts and UFOs, and technically no evidence exists to disprove those theories. These are the Marfa Lights, and this is how they became the biggest puzzle never to be solved. In order to understand this mysterious phenomenon, we need to go back to the late 19th century, where young cowboy Robert Reed Ellison saw unexplained orbs of light hovering over the desert landscape. At the time, Robert was herding cattle through Paseno Pass, and his immediate thought was that these strange lights were the glowing embers of a nearby campfire. So, puzzled, he went to investigate. But there was no campsite, nor any lights. A supernatural oddity had appeared, only to vanish moments later, leaving Robert questioning his sanity. However, another incident a few years later in 1885 reassured him that he wasn't losing his mind. When Joe and Ann Humphreys reported a similar sight in the same area, glowing orbs the size of basketballs moving erratically across the night sky, upon further investigation they found no campsite, and the flying lights had disappeared. Same pattern, same mystery. Unexplained sights of the Marfa Lights continued into the 20th century, and still no one could find an explanation. As technology began to develop, the Marfa Lights began attracting national attention when the first widely recognized account appeared in July 1957 in an issue of the Coronet magazine. As well as the rest of the country, this excitement also attracted the attention of James Bunnell, a retired NASA aerospace engineer who had grown up in the area. Having attended Marfa High School during his adolescence and witnessed similar phenomena growing up, Bunnell returned in 2000 to try and solve the mystery once and for all. He decided to dedicate the next 12 years of his life to solving the lights, and he began by installing 10 wide-spectrum infrared cameras on nearby ranches to meticulously analyze footage for patterns. During this period, records indicated 34 sightings of the Marfa Lights, and each of them was unexplained. The enduring mystery led to the installation of monitoring stations in 2003, aiming to provide a definitive answer. These stations recorded an average of 9.5 Marfa Lights on 5.25 nights per year, but Bunnell expected that they were capturing only about 50% of the lights that were occurring in the area. Bunnell continued to research tirelessly, but the true nature of the Marfa Lights remained elusive. He proposed theories suggesting that underground friction might create an electromagnetic display, but no conclusive proof emerged. The mystery's refusal to be solved began to attract not only national coverage, but now also international attention. Platforms were built for tourists hoping to catch a glimpse of the phenomenon, and rumor has it that actor James Dean, while filming Giant in Marfa, was so captivated by the light that he brought a telescope to his hotel room to observe them. But the lights attracted more than just tourists. The mystery also spread to academic circles, where many scientists believed that they had the resources to finally solve it. The first to try was skeptic Brian Dunning, who pointed out that the View Park, where people go to see the Marfa Lights, was located at a spot that used to be the Marfa Army Airfield. This area, about 9 miles east of Marfa along US Route 90, was a major military base in the 1940s, where thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers trained. Towards the end of the 20th century, it became a local airport, and it regularly had flights. The point he was trying to get to was that if the area was consistently inhabited by travelers and the military, this would mean countless sightings of the lights. But no one at that site ever claimed to have seen strange buzzing lights in the desert sky. Dunning argued that it was unlikely that any strange phenomenon could or would go unnoticed, but this doesn't mean that the story of the lights is completely fictional. He suggested that the lights were probably just a mirage, caused by the temperature differences between warm and cold air layers, and that these lights would only appear at certain angles in certain conditions. This would explain why Bunnell's station didn't pick up all of the lights and why there was no confirmed sightings at the military base. Marfa's high elevation of 4,688 feet often experiences significant temperature swings of 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which would further make this argument seem plausible. However, it's not. His argument was fundamentally flawed. Dunning suggested that constant security would prevent unnoticed phenomenon, but this isn't entirely true. Patrols might not have focused on such unusual lights, and their sporadic appearance could have easily been missed. The mirage's explanation fails to account for the distinct erratic behavior of the lights, which does not align with typical mirage effects. Additionally, while temperature swings in Marfa are significant, they do not uniquely produce the Marfa Lights, as similar conditions elsewhere do not create such phenomena. And finally, observations of the lights, including their movement in patterns, do not fit well with the mirage theory. Dunning's research was inconclusive, and more investigation was needed. Next, to look into the Marfa Lights was a team of students from the Society of Physics at the University of Texas. The group spent 4 days in the spring of 2004 examining the lights observed southwest of the park. Using traffic volume monitoring equipment, video cameras, binoculars, and chase cars, they found that US Highway 67 is visible from the viewing area and that the frequency of the lights correlated to the traffic on the highway. The observed lights moved in a straight line, resembling the path of cars on the highway. In the experiment, they parked a vehicle on US 67 and flashed its headlights, which created a visible effect similar to the Marfa Lights seen at the viewing yard. They also noticed that passing cars on the highway made it look as though one Marfa Light was overtaking another. So, based on these observations, they concluded that the Marfa Lights were likely caused by automobile headlights traveling along US 67. But again, there were problems with this conclusion. While insightful, the findings of the students do not fully address the complexity of the phenomenon. Their conclusion that the lights are automobile headlights might just be too simple. Firstly, the Marfa Lights have been seen under various conditions at times when traffic on US 67 was minimal. How can it be headlights if our good friend Robert Reed Ellison saw them in 1883? This suggests that the lights are not solely linked to vehicle activity, which brings me to the next point. The lights are often reported to have erratic movement, moving very unpredictably. A car cannot move left, right, up, and down, all within the space of a few seconds. The lights have also been seen in areas where US 67 is not visible, making it unlikely that all sightings can be attributed to traffic on this highway. Their inability to find definitive results, again, highlighted that more research was needed. The final investigation was when scientists from Texas State University conducted an investigation at the Marfa Lights viewing station. Over 20 nights in May 2008, using spectroscopy equipment, they recorded several lights that initially seemed mysterious, but were ultimately attributed to either automobile headlights or small fires based on their movement patterns and the data collected, similar to the students before. Lights of unknown origin were observed, but researchers concluded that these instances could be explained by common sources. They noted that since genuine Marfa lights were rarely observed, and some lights exhibited unusual behavior not accounted for by car lights or fires, further research, again, was needed to fully understand their nature. The scientists' research was thus inconclusive, and the mystery of the Marfa lights remained. Despite various investigative efforts from scientists, academics, and researchers, the true nature of the Marfa Lights remains elusive, and to this day, no one knows for certain what causes them. Many conspiracies have spread all over the internet. Some say that the lights are ancient UFOs which have been secretly hiding on Earth, others say the government is hiding the truth from the masses, and others say it's the souls of the Kennedys floating through the Texas deserts, which, I find a little unlikely. But in all fairness, it's only natural for people to seek supernatural explanations when science can't provide answers. Maybe the Marfa Lights are caused by the differences in temperature in the atmosphere, maybe the Marfa Lights are just headlights from nearby cars, or maybe the Marfa Lights are the result of something much more sinister. I guess we'll never know. But what we will know is what happened to this man's brain after he stuck his head in a particle accelerator. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video.